Hello, hello. I am so thankful for you guys. I'm so inspired by you. I woke up at zing this morning knowing that we get to be connected like this. And wow, I was inspired by your questions and your comments. And yesterday, during stream two, I'll call it, it was just so interesting how it was just so personal and intimate. And I felt so loved by the fact that I have a space here where we get to be together and really do have a personal journey together. Every day, as we say, is different, but every day has the potential of being full of joy and bringing that gift to everyone around us. And so here we go. And so as we start today, today's no different. It's amazing how this is going to be a new day, a new approach to what it means to live in joy and to live in the happy club. And as you and I both know, you don't chase after happy. When you get obsessed with wanting to be happy, it's like chasing a butterfly. You just can't get it. But when you apply amazing strategy to your life and you are intentional with what you think about and intentional about doing what you can today and not waiting for conditions to change or circumstances to change, when you do what you can today, then you start doing that day after day after day after day, the momentum builds, and before long those butterflies are just landing on you. It's like happiness just arrives, and it's like, wow, this really happens. Life really is a gift. So hello, hello, feel my love today. I'm very thankful for our topic and inspired by you, meaning I am using your questions today. I have been listening to what you want to talk about most. And today is the question was, in your personal journey, Audrey, and in the whole idea of Happy Club, how do I rewire my brain towards positivity? And what a fantastic question. So, we're going to take this very literally for a second when it comes to rewire. Let's just thinking about rewiring, because our world has really changed in the general understanding. It seems that decades have gone by and now it's normal, it's general knowledge to talk about rewiring your brain. And that was something that was never talked about years ago. But rewiring is real. This morning, as I woke up, I went to turn on my laptop because I was full of some ideas, and I'm like, oh, I got some ideas, and my battery was at 5% on my laptop, and I was outside, and I had to go and get my charger. See, we use electrical terms all the time. I went to get my charger, and because I was outside where there was no outlet, I had to use three extension cords. And I wasn't even thinking about the topic today. But I kept thinking, wow, this is so cool. This little cord knows how to reach into this little cord. Three of them over, but it's instant. It was nanoseconds, plugged in the computer, and it was working. And I went, whoa, when electricity works, it's amazing. And you see, we've been living with harnessed electricity for so many decades that we can turn our lights on and use power, and we don't give it a second thought. It's our norm. 200 years ago, if some person would have walked into your house and seen what you do, you flick a switch and all the lights turn on, etc., all the things that are electrical, and they would have literally thought you were dealing with magic. They would have thought, that's magic. But because it's our normal, we have enjoyed the fact that somebody and some people figured out how to harness this in, lead the electricity to work for us. And it's the exact same thing with our brains and our thoughts and our days. If we can get our connectors together, it will feel like magic, even though it's not. God gave us this amazing brain, this mind, and words like neuroplasticity, which is the ability for our brain to be changed. It's like plastic, it's movable, it's there, we can form. We have intent. With intention, we can form what's going on to rewire our brain. That's neuroplasticity and neural pathways. We've probably all heard these words by now, but 10 years, 20 years ago, people weren't talking like this. But we're harnessing in on as a person, I can harness in on what's available to me. And just like a flicking a switch, I can flick switches in my brain and train it to work for me in making life work really well. And so you probably heard the expression when your wires are crossed, like in a relationship. Oh, we got our wires crossed. Our communication lines weren't working well. So today I want to get really practical about this whole rewiring your brain thing. I know the concept is great, and I want you to feel like I want this. I want all my wires to be working so well that I can flick switches and I'm in charge. Charge being another electric word. You guys, I am so sorry, but for an hour or two now, I've been using all these electric words like voltage and circuits and capacitors, and I've been just kind of doing a little slight dive into electrical terms, and I'm like, these all really apply to our daily life, and they actually work. So the fun thing about today is that no one is immune or disqualified from doing this. You might think, if I'm not predisposed towards positivity and maybe I'm a glass half empty kind of a person, this won't work for me. Nope. It's actual science that you're not disqualified. It's not dependent on certain personalities, and rewiring your brain to really work for you is not dependent on certain circumstances. If you can get past that, then now we can move forward. So just say to yourself, oh, I guess this can be for me. I can actually learn. I'm inspired to wire my brain. Imagine a robot brain. I always go right back to the Jetsons because I'm from those eras. But I imagine Rosie the robot, and AI looks so different now. But I imagine her brain isn't full of cells and tissue like ours is, but it's full of all these wires that connect. And imagine your wires are just tangled up and frayed and cut at the wrong places, and just this mass of confusion sometimes and chaos. That's what our brains feel like if we're not really taking um, charge and mastering what's going on in our brain. So the good news is it's a great time. I think that's probably one of my main um, passions, because it's just something I do myself so much, is that I have found what works for me in a practical way. I can read books about it all day long, but what's going to actually work for me? And again, you can listen to this and read books all day long, but something's going to work for you. Something today will click, because you're not watching this by accident, and something, you are ready for this. You are so ready to untangle the masses of wires in your brain. You are so ready for this. So I don't know where you're at in in what your brain condition is at this moment, as far as your mind, about your neurological pathways. But imagine all of the wires within yourself, who you are, all of your thoughts being clear, connected just the right ones, and the circuits and the movements are flowing, and all of a sudden, whoa, it's like flicking on a light switch. Everything's working for me. Life just seems to work. Even when conditions are dark or evil, or someone's being stupid around me, my wires just are connected and I'm not affected. Probably one of the words that I like the most is what is it, the magnetism, because it talks about a magnetic field. Whenever you look up the word magnetism, it isn't about the wires, it's about a field. And that just really reminds me that our wires, our neurological pathways are all moving and working within us, but they're actually affecting an entire field of electromagnetism. In other words, we really are electric, and that's either good or bad. Meaning our atmosphere is affecting this world, and especially the people you encounter. So what a great idea to do this today. So yeah, so you're not, so let's just move towards, I have 4 steps that are so practical And the number one, I'm just going to try and do it off the top of my head rather than look at my notes, but I'm just going to see what happens. Let's just see what happens. Let's just have coffee together in my backyard and not worry about notes. Okay. I'm just going to tell you what I've been just on. I have been on it today. Yesterday during our stream, I was on Coke. I mean, Coca-Cola Coke. And some of you were wonderful enough to tell me that you had a Coke in my celebration. We are not promoting Coke on the Happy Club. If you are anti-Coke, of course you are. Coke is terrible. But we had, we had those days when we're not perfect. I'll tell you, after being with you yesterday and just talking about how that I'm reverting back to yesterday's stream 2. But when we talked about how that pressure had caused me to strive, I lost my flow, and it was if a wire got cut. The wires that are rest are the have the best circuitability. The energy travels best. God's presence travels best. His words to me travel best during rest and peace. But when I get involved, it's like my human strength becomes a pair of pliers and just starts cutting all the wires, and then my wires get crossed and frayed and mixed up and confused. All the things that happen. So yesterday, after we were together, it was just it was such amazing how that one exercise of saying, wait a minute, I'm going to take the ride and I'm going to let you be God, because I'm not. And those wires just got put together. It was like the light switch. And my day was full of activity, of helping others and doing things like that. But everything flowed. We want every day to be a day that flows, no matter what the conditions are, what the schedule is, what the demands are, what the goals are. We get to rewire our brains. So back to the 4 steps. Number 1, this one is optional. It's the optional one. Out of all 4, it's the optional one, but in some ways it's the best one. And well, no, they're all great. Forget that. Forget I said that. So the number 1 is to carve out time at the very beginning of your day to set in place your intentions for the day, your connection to Jesus and God, and your amazing source of power. And to really settle your mind and get quiet and still. That, would you rather sleep an extra hour or have an hour all by yourself, no other people around, peaceful, just you and your thoughts? I know, right? And sometimes it's get the extra hour of sleep. And sometimes I want to carve out that hour. I'm just saying an hour, whatever, 5 minutes is helpful. But carve out some form of a time to get still, to really slow down your breath and just start reminding your heart, developing, well, not even just developing, but assuring yourself that life is such a gift from God. My life is a gift from God. And just what I did this morning for me, myself, I wanted to jump right into my laptop. You can tell I went and got it charged up right away because I woke up very inspired to be with you. And because I got this question came in. I'm like, what a great question. How do I rewire my brain? Thank you for the question. We can go there. Rewiring is real. It's science. And so I was very excited, but then I went, wait a minute. I wrote down number 1. Well, first thing you got to do is carve out that time, because you want to rewire your brain. It's like going in for surgery or therapy or whatever you want to call it. It's a physiotherapy. It's every kind of therapy. So instead of just writing about it, it's actually doing it. So closed my computer, got a blanket, sat down, closed my eyes, and I went, wow. In the very deepest part of you, and I'm going to talk to you now. Just if you want to do this, you can. If you're not driving, don't do it if you're driving. But if you can, close your eyes, and in the very, very deepest core part of you, there is imagine a lake that is so still and so perfect. And it's your lake with your favorite colors and your favorite surroundings and environment of this lake. But this lake is called calm. Mm. Oh, it's so nice here. And I saw myself sitting on the edge, and it was sunset, and my feet were in the water. I was sitting on the sand, and Jesus was beside me, and we both had one of those like champagne glasses, and we just went ding, and it was like, oh, I think the feeling would be, this is it. When I'm here, I've arrived. I'm not, definitely not striving, definitely not trying hard, but I've arrived. And it was it was such a beautiful moment. And you can have your own because you are doing something at this lake that no one else is doing. It's yours. But if you close your eyes and really allow yourself to be free in your imagination, let your imagination be wildly limitless. Um, it's fun. That's when, taking time to have that time of biblical meditation, of being with God, being with Jesus, is just so incredible. So, step number one, or the four sort of things, is to carve out time, because when you are going to this lake of calm, or don't even go where you want to go, as I'm just bringing out possibilities to you. I'm just presenting ideas that might be wonderful for you. But you do it your way, everything you. Do this everything you. But freedom is amazing. Okay, so go to a beautiful place, and then once you're there, invest in that um, rewiring. So today I invest in the rewiring, saying, today it was like, I've arrived. No need to strive. I have arrived. And then I say that over again. No need to strive. I have arrived. Sometimes I sing it. Sometimes I sing it to myself. And then I keep letting, because even music has frequency. You see what I mean? Yes, and I'm going to sing it to you. You have arrived. No need to strive. You are investing in frequency when you relax and you say yes. Say yes to everything God has promised you. Say yes to all the good things. Something happens. You're preparing the rewiring in your brain. Awesome. Carve out the time. You can't do this while you're driving. I can't. I can't go this peaceful frequency wise. If I'm grocery shopping or something. But however, moving on to step number 2 is take it into every moment of your day. So this is the part where if you don't, you couldn't have time for step 1 and you needed to sleep more. And let's just be real, you just slept and you got up and just got going. Go right into step 2. And step 2, I have it written out, is to live in the new reality all the time. So you're making the choice that if I have arrived, then I am going to actually feel how it feels to have arrived, even if conditions or circumstances are not aligned, not quite there yet, haven't matched up, so to speak. But to still smile and feel like who is that person when they're in that situation and they're just so at peace and like, what's up? And it's like, I am actually going to feel the feels of what God says to be true. Because faith sees the end from the beginning. And also, faith feels the end from the beginning. Yeah, this is what it's like right now with this and this and this. Yeah. Are those prayer requests? Yeah. But I feel the end from the beginning. I feel. For me, it was the word, I've arrived. Whatever Jesus is telling you, I'm just telling you mine for today. It's different every day. But then all day long, I remind myself, this is just not for this. I'm living overlapping realities, earth and heaven. And now I'm doing a lot of earth stuff. I'm going to work. I'm looking after babies. Whatever we're doing right here, we are in challenging meetings. We are doing all these things. But when I'm living in overlapping reality because I live right in the middle of heaven and earth. I want to move my way more towards my wiring being connected to heaven while I am doing things on earth. That's a hack right there. That's a life hack right there. So, number two, just live your day living out that intention that you told yourself. Another one is just life is such a gift. And then you start to see, once you say that intention, then all day you're seeing the gifts, you're seeing beauty, you're holding on to whatever is beautiful. And then all of a sudden, that's all you start to see is all the beautiful things. Okay. And number three, oh, train your brain. Okay, this is the part. This is the part where you train your brain. In what Bob and I do, we do a lot of trauma therapy. So that means we are helping people rewire their brains where there was trauma and a huge break in the brain that's triggered. It's like emotional PTSD. When we do trauma therapy, we help people to go back and rewire memories and rewire moments and bring Jesus into those and recreate memories in our imagination. It's actually doable. That's where our mind and our brain, our memories are plastic, and we can have a new way to look at them. And all of a sudden, why is life getting so good all the time? I don't even know what's happening. So with training your brain, first thing, you can't change what you don't notice. So when you're retraining your brain, just ask God to help you all day. He's partners. You guys are co-creating this life together, this life experience together. So as you're co-creating with him, you got to notice when you're thinking anything that's based in fear, or I don't know, just anything mean even, or unkind, or not nice thoughts about someone around you or a circumstance, or just not loving and kind and full of mercy. Just anything that's not that, when that thought comes, or I don't have enough, or I'm not enough, or that person really hurt me, or that person is a jerk, or you get it, all those things. And once you trains of thought are real, so neurological pathways, if you want to recreate those neurological pathways, instead of all the ones that were broken, to put them back together, we want to travel down we want to create new pathways that are just loving towards other people, good thoughts towards everyone, wishing well to everyone around you, and even your enemies. Like, just wishing well is a beautiful way to enjoy life. And so to train your brain to do that, you've got to notice when that fear-based emotion or thought comes at you. You've got to catch it. And if you don't catch it, and it's already gone on for half an hour and you've been thinking terrible things for half an hour, it's okay. The moment you catch it, you got to kind of, it's like anti-trauma. It's like the opposite of trauma, but you have to shock it. Like electric shock is the same. We're doing electrical stuff here. So we've got to shock your system to say, no, shock. I don't like that. That's painful. That's not, I'm not interested. So you kind of have to shock yourself. So some people use bands and they go, shock, no. Or some people splash water in their face. But I tried that and it didn't work because I didn't always have my band on. I'm like, oh, I'm such a loser. And then who has a glass of water with them always? And who wants to put water all over their face every time they have a thought that isn't right? And so I just got super handy. I was handy, literally. I was in the grocery store at Albertsons down the street, and I was shopping, and I had a thought, and I was really into retraining my brain and rewiring my brain. So I was really intentional, and I went, oh, and I wanted to do something just to shock my system. So you can't see my hands right now, and that's probably a good thing, but I just pinched my nipples. I just went, ah! And I went, okay, that was good. I feel shocked out of that negative thought. And I just went, eh. And then the anti-trauma part is to then apply comfort. You don't, I should have pre-thought this, but anyway, it's live, whatever. But then even just touching, your shoulder and just feeling the comfort, you can comfort yourself and just go, you know what? I love feelings of peace, comfort. And guess what? The next thing, it leads us right on to number 4. And that's it's some people now there's a term for it. It's called EFT. It's emotional freedom technique. But then with a beautiful touch or just bringing attention, you're going to say, even though that really hurt me, or even though I'm scared because there's no money in the bank, even though um, this is hard, or this is, you have to use the words even though, because then you're not saying no to your feelings and your fear. You're not being against them. You're saying, you know what? And I'm going to say this right to you. And I wish I could just touch your shoulder, but just touch your own shoulder and say, even though this is what's going on today, I'm feeling some dread, even though this is happening. And then these special words, the truth is. So 2 words first, even though, da 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 da. The truth is, and as you're applying comfort to yourself, the truth is that I'm not alone. And I just want to tell you today, the truth is you're not alone. And as you're doing this and you're giving yourself this gift, the truth is, even though this, I have an advocate, and I have a God. And that leads me to how I wanted to end this. You can do all this rewiring. Every time you do the 4 things I'm telling you, you're actually cleaning up, going into your mind and rewiring everything that moves towards love, righteousness, joy, and peace, which is the kingdom, is righteousness, peace, and joy. But then finally, imagine with me a vacuum cleaner. Okay. You've got a perfect vacuum cleaner. The parts they function well. They're clean. They're amazing. They're aligned. Everything's flawless. It's designed to function. So imagine if you created your brain now to design to function well towards bringing life and not death to this world, bringing possibilities that are turning into probabilities into this world. You become that. But imagine, like a vacuum cleaner, you figure this out, but then you're vacuuming and then you realize, why isn't this working? And it wasn't plugged in. Can you imagine vacuuming for hours, wondering why it's not working? Because it's not plugged in. You can rewire your brain all day long, but then you got to be plugged in to your source, who is God, who loves you. I mean, he is everything. He is everything beautiful and everything wonderful and everything creative and everything genius and everything wise. All the things. He's like infinitely powerful, intelligent, wise, strategic, and knows you the best. So I guess in this, I'm just saying today is a great day to make sure you're rewiring with those 4 steps, but then plugged in. It's not me doing this. I'm doing my part by rewiring the system. I'm getting the vacuum cleaner to work well, but then I'm plugged in. All right. Okay, so my sweet, beautiful, dear, amazing friend. This is officially started now, so I hope to do this every Monday and Thursday. If I get enough subscribers in the next few days, I know I just started, but if I get enough, then locals will let me do 2 streams a week. And then the more subscribers I get, the more often I can do this, because they let me. They let me have lots of these, and these live in my Happy Club library forever. So I hope you can rewatch them. But all that said, share this with your friends and let everyone know that we love to have them join our club. All right. So next stream will be in 3 days, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. On Monday, this is I know it's time sensitive. I'm just saying, Happy Canada Day to Canadians. I am Canadian. I'm living in Phoenix, but I am Canadian, and it's the true north, strong and free. So I'm excited about Canada tomorrow because it's the true north. What an incredible thing. Strong and free. And that's you. Canadian, American, German, Australian, you're all out there, but you're strong and free. When we rewire our brain, we are strong and free. Okay. Feel the love. Feel the love, everybody. Okay, bye.